Hello and welcome to CU Immigration Forum TV. And once again, we are here to bring you the news and what's happening in immigration all over the country, but especially here in our area. So today, CU Immigration Forum is having a big event next week on April 10th. And so we have two guests to tell us about what's going on in our community when it comes to immigration. So let me introduce our first two guests. Go ahead.
My name is John Wilkie. I'm a local immigration attorney and have a lot of Latino clients, and I'm a member of the CU Immigration Forum.
Welcome, Jack.
Thank you.
John, and a local musician.
Yes,
Put in a plug for the room.
Yeah, that's my night job.
All right.
And my name is Mariana Puentes. I'm a student at the University of Illinois. I'm a member of La Colectiva and a member of Gamma Phi Omega International Sorority, a Latina sorority.
Okay. And of course, part of Immigration Forum. The CU Immigration Forum is composed of, we have a little bit of everybody, right? We have faculty, we have students, we have community members, we even have lawyers.
People and lawyers.
People and lawyers, that's what I meant to say. So anyway, next week is a big deal.
Yes, April 10th we're having a vigil, and we invite all community members from both the university and Champaign-Urbana to rally for, to light and pressure our government for immigration reform.
Okay, and I'm going to show a little visual of the poster that people will see around town or they might receive over their email. And can you tell us more of the details?
Yes, we're going to start at the University YMCA on 101 South Wright Street in Champaign-Urbana, and then that will start at 5 o'clock. Then we will move to the CIR, the East Central Illinois Refugee Center, and that will be at 6 o'clock. And then we will close the rally on the steps of the federal courthouse. Okay,
and so that's all starts right after work then?
Yes.
Or maybe on the way home from work?
Yes.
Okay, so 5:30. You know, one of the things that as I've become more involved in immigration, I get this feeling of there's a lot of people out there and, you know, that are interested in working towards, you know, and CU Immigration Forum has the Faith Allies, the 15 congregations, and then the, you know, there's the students, and then we have we have several faculty members, but there's a class running on immigration, and then just a little bit of everybody. But I always wonder when we show up to the meetings, because we haven't taken the time, who are you, and why do you do what you do? So yours is the most natural. Why are you involved in Immigration Forum? Because we have maybe a dozen immigration attorneys in the area, but you're involved.
Well, actually, I don't think there's quite that many immigration attorneys here locally in Champaign-Urbana. There might be a handful. But I guess I'm involved just because it's kind of a natural process. I speak Spanish, and I have a lot of Spanish-speaking clients who I've represented in other areas of the law for the last 20 years or so. And really, I got into the immigration portion of this when the Life Act passed in 2001. I was referring people to other attorneys in town, and I figured, well, why don't I go ahead and do this? And then that law expired, and everybody thought it was going to be renewed, and then September 11th occurred, so everything changed. But it was kind of an organic process. I realized that I might be helping somebody in traffic court, but everything's related, because if they have immigration issues, that's going to affect their driving. And basically, I've kind of gotten to know the families over the years, and I've realized that obviously it's good for my business, but it's really a way to help people. If the immigration laws change, their situation is going to get a lot better.
And there are sometimes penalties with regular laws that are compounded, or the punishment is different if you're an immigrant.
That's correct. For example, if somebody gets a DUI, that's usually a Class A misdemeanor. If somebody's undocumented and doesn't have an Illinois driver's license, then it gets bumped up to a felony. So it's almost an unequal protection of the law situation. Somebody who is undocumented, doesn't have a driver's license, is going to get a 10-day jail sentence, whereas a U.S. citizen wouldn't get any jail time. So Yes, there certainly are some aggravating factors for those who don't have immigration status.
So you're offering actually, you've gone to a full package then, because as you say, many of these things are related to their immigration status.
They certainly are. And, you know, I know you hear these arguments from opponents of immigration reform that, well, they broke the law because they came into the country. That's true. So therefore, they're going to be breaking every other law. It's like they're serial lawbreakers. Nothing could be further from the truth in my experience. And I've represented, and most of my immigrant clients are Latinos, but I've represented them in 10 counties around Champaign County for the last 20 years. And 99% of them are hardworking people who are just here trying to support their family, wanting to keep their family together.
And does your involvement then with Immigration Forum?
Yes, yes. I actually, I think you were the person who invited me. It's been almost 2 years ago, and it really amazed me at how many hardworking people we have, you know, the students at the university and the community members. It's a group that recently enacted a change in the Illinois driver's license law that would enable undocumented people to get driver's licenses. So it's a good organization.
Yeah, we've had at least one big success a year, and so we're on a roll.
Right.
Let's win the national one now.
That's right, exactly.
Okay, Mariana, can you tell us a little bit about your experience in immigration and why you've ended up at the Immigration Forum?
Definitely. I come from a family of immigrants, and I have lots of friends and family that are undocumented. And for me, it's really about making a change and being able to keep my family and my friends safe and together here. We as students have a voice, and we're a very powerful group of people, and we really just want to try to give voice to the people who really need our help.
Is this part of also the sorority then, as you guys are active on campus?
Yes, definitely. It's part of our four feathers, just components of what we really want to do to empower the Latino community, because we know that this is a problem for many of our members. And so we just really want to shed light, and we want to try to just empower everyone in our country. Undocumented immigrants and all immigrants are a major part of what makes this country work. And so we just really want them to have the rights that they deserve.
Yeah, I once had I've worked with undocumented immigrants over the last maybe 7-8 years very directly, and I had, last time the immigration debate came on full strength, and there were people from very humble backgrounds out there on the streets, you know, what I would see now is involved in the democracy, in the process, in the democratic process. And one of them, when we were asking, so where are you in this? Why are you so involved? And he said, you know, in medicines, he said, you know, like in aspirin, it says that it's 1% active ingredient and then 99% inert ingredients, he said. And I said, yeah. He said, well, we're kind of like that. We're here, we do all these things, nobody notices, but if we weren't there, it would make a big difference on how the medicine is delivered. And I thought, what a great analogy of the presence in, you know, in the back kitchens and in the agriculture fields, and, you know, in just so many situations. It's an ingredient that's essential, but you don't have to notice it because it's not the active ingredient, right?
Right.
So anyway, Jack, can you tell us a little bit more about, I don't know, we can go to the nationwide effort, or we can go as to why this is important next April 10th, next Wednesday.
Well, I think it's important, as you say, because we have a lot of undocumented people in this country, maybe 11 million, who are an integral part of the community here. As an immigration attorney, the central focus of immigration law, or one of the main focuses, has always been family reunification. And I think what I would like to see with the new law, and what I would urge people to do as far as contacting their federal legislators, their congressmen and their senators, is to push for an expansion of the family-based immigration petitions. Currently, there are several ways to bring a family member over. The quickest one is when you're petitioning for what's known as an immediate relative. That would be a spouse or a minor child or a parent of a U.S. citizen. In those situations, there's an unlimited number of immigrant visas, so there's no backlog. Somewhere in contrast, there's what's known as the preference system, where you have a more remote degree of kinship. For example, the brother from Mexico of a U.S. citizen. Currently, there's a 20-year backlog in the immigration system for those kind of people. I think it's even longer in the Philippines, but Mexico typically has some of the longest waiting periods. So I think what would be useful is to perhaps expand some of the categories of immigrant visas, and not only in the family-based arena, but I think there's been talk about expanding the number of business-related, because that's the other way one can get residency.
Yeah, that would solve that question that people say, just get in line, or why don't you come here legally?
Right.
They can't get legally because it's...
Yes, I mean, and there's precedent for this actually. The Life Act, which I mentioned earlier, which expired in 2001, enabled people who came in undocumented, illegally, to pay some kind of penalty, but then to pursue the process here in the United States. Because the way the law is now, if they've been here undocumented more than a year without being inspected at the border, they have to leave the country and wait 10 years outside the country. And that, you know, that's led to some pretty heartbreaking scenarios. I had one woman who left the country for her interview at Ciudad Juarez, and apparently she had had a prior deportation, and I don't know if she's going to be able to get around that 10-year wait. She's got an 8-year-old daughter living here in the area. So I think the new law has to contemplate the fact that there are many people in this situation, and to enable them somehow to pursue the process here in the United States without having to leave and be apart from their family for a long period of time.
Yeah, and so that would be the action that you would want addressed by the Congress people.
I think that would be a very important and necessary component of any new legislation that's enacted.
Yeah. So that's an interesting part of an example of why things are so just, the system is broken. It's so messed up. It's so complex. And there are people all over the nation clamoring for a change. Mariana, I'm going to show a couple of images from across the country, and I'd like your thoughts just as we look at some of these, because the rally here, or the vigil on April 10th, which would be this poster that we just showed, is actually the local instantiation.
It's our local effort.
But really, there's a lot more going on. So can you tell us what you see here and what's going on? What do you know, the Chicago people or any other place? So
definitely, there are going to be rallies and marches all over the country. This is going to be a national day of recognition. We really want to unite the whole country behind this cause, and so that's why we're trying to find ways locally, but if you won't be in the Champaign-Urbana area, definitely all around the country there's going to be efforts to promote this cause.
Yes, and it looks like there's going to be a march in D.C. also. I see all kinds of settings for buses, and wow. Are we going to Washington? Are you going to Washington, or not this time?
Not this time. Gotta promote our community here in Champaign-Urbana, but definitely there are a lot of devoted people who are also going to be in D.C. and in Chicago and the big cities. So we just want to also show the country that even in our small cities, like, our cause is important.
Yeah. So let's talk about local ways. Let me see if I can find the Facebook page, or let me see, that's Immigration Forum. Let me see if I can find our Facebook page that would talk about, well, let's just type it in. about CU immigration and how people can get involved for next Tuesday or next Wednesday, I think.
Yes.
So tell us about that. So what events are coming up during this week that will lead up to the 10th?
Well, this coming Sunday, we will be having a poster making event at the YMCA, the University YMCA, where we're going to make posters in preparation for the Vigil in March. On April 3rd, I know there's going to be an event.
Yeah, that's Wednesday at the Spanish-speaking group is contracted. I think it's one of the schools to be at and organize and make posters and all that, families.
Yes,
Will be
definitely.
tomorrow. So, in fact, I'll pull up that flyer in just a minute. And then, who organizes this? Why is this going on?
Well, it's the CU Immigration Forum has a hand in it. There's a lot of community members involved in this. One of our members is employed at the, Lucia Maldonado is employed at the Urbana School District, and she has a lot of contacts with the Spanish-speaking community. So it's really, as you mentioned earlier, it's really a broad-based effort involving students, faculty, and we also have several sponsors in the community that have agreed to endorse these efforts. And we have Central Illinois Jobs for Justice, the Channing Murray Foundation, the Refugee Center, the First Presbyterian Church, the Wesley Foundation, University Y, McKinley Foundation, the United Auto Workers, the Unitarian Universalist Church, University Place Church, La Colectiva. There are actually quite a few faith-based organizations in our community that are really getting behind this effort.
Yeah, in fact, that meeting will be tomorrow morning too. The Faith Allies meets, well, this week, just because of the rally, is meeting 1 week earlier. They normally meet the second Tuesday at 9 a.m., but tomorrow, the first Wednesday, we're meeting.
Right.
And those congregations will be talking about what they're doing to prepare for that. What about student groups?
Student groups, there are a lot of student groups that are really putting in an effort for this cause. La Colectiva works tirelessly to work towards any type of immigration reform. They are going to be having a fundraiser at the end of this month to provide a scholarship for a University of Illinois student who is undocumented. We know how hard it is just for documented residents of the United States to go to a four-year university, and it's even harder for people who are undocumented to get these types of scholarships. So we really want to make education possible for all people, because education is an equalizer. There are other organizations, I know definitely different.
The Sigma, the young man last night.
Yes, different Latino-oriented sororities and fraternities, Greek organizations like Sigma Lambda Beta, my organization Gamma Phi Omega. Different organizations are putting in a lot of effort to also make their own scholarships and also just create events and awareness within the university, so that we can really see that it's our friends, it's our colleagues here at the university that really need our help.
Well, good. Why don't we just, for anyone just tuning in, why don't we just go over the events of April 10th and how people can join, and then maybe we can add, what if people can't come but they still want to support? So, Jack, you want to go over then what's going to happen next Wednesday, the 10th, and then up where people can join and participate?
Right. Well, as you mentioned, the rally is starting at, is it 5 or 5:30 at the University Y?
5:30.
5:30, okay. And the University Y, we're going to have some speakers there. That's, I think it's 1001 South Wright Street, so it's right across the street from Lincoln Hall there. And there's parking on the street. Usually the parking's not too bad at that time of the evening. So we're going to be meeting there, and there's going to be some speakers there. And then there's going to be a march or a vigil to the Refugee Center, which is on Green Street, close to Lincoln Square in Urbana. I think it's at the corner. It's in the Unitarian Church
it's
there.
Green and
Birch, I think.
And Birch, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not exactly sure what the route is. Maybe down Green
Oh,
Street.
actually, I was talking to somebody. It's going to be all through Green Street.
Okay.
So Green Street from the university all the way up to the church.
And we will be passing out some information as we're marching about how you can contact us, how you can contact your local representatives and senators about this. So it's about a mile walk to the refugee center, or the church there, the Unitarian Church at Birch and Green. There'll be some further speakers there at that point. We have several people affiliated with the refugee center, and I think there's a clergy person that's going to be speaking at that point. And then from there, the rally will be ending around 7, but sometime around 6:30, I guess, we'll be marching over to the federal courthouse, which is there at Elm and Vine Street. It's kind of across from the Urbana City Building and just southeast of the main county courthouse, where we'll be out front of there, and there'll be some more speakers there. So we would urge anyone to come to any and all of those forums and to join in the march. And our group has already met with Congressman Rodney Davis, who has a very good immigration liaison department there. And we'll be meeting with Representative Shimkus tomorrow.
Yeah.
So people can join in the march. There's lots of ways to help. Contact your legislatures, talk to people in your church, just spread the word throughout the community that the time is now for immigration reform.
I think so too. So I'd like to end today's show with talking about the theme and why do you think people should come in terms of the theme. The poster has a candle. It talks about light the path. Which path, why, how are some questions for you, as you maybe appeal to people why they should come and why it's important for them to join.
Definitely, right now, the path there really isn't a path, as you explained, to really get citizenship, wait in line. And so we really want to just light the path, and we want to have our representatives come up with some legislation that is going to keep our families together, is going to really use our tax dollars well and not criminalize hardworking immigrants. And we just really want to make it so that we can get some change to happen.
Good. So light the path. What about the second part? Don't block the path. What kinds of blocks are coming up, or why is that a mention in this?
Well, I think realistically, I think the new legislation has to focus on family development and legalizing those who are already here. You know, I think it's analogous to the Statue of Liberty's torch. You know, that it's been a beacon for people throughout the world. Unless you're a Native American person, we were all immigrants who came here. So focusing huge amounts of money on the border security, for example, focusing huge amounts of money on deportations for people who have no criminal records and are merely here working. That's the type of blocking the pathway, I think, that makes little sense, and the resources would better be served by increasing the number of immigrant visas and making the process more streamlined so that people can be employed and people can join their families.
Let me clarify something, Jack. Are you saying we should then have open borders? Anybody who wants to come ought to come? I mean, just to...
Well, I think you're asking a lawyer for a straight question, aren't you?
Yeah.
Of course not. All I'm saying is that the focus has to be more on family reunification. Of course, we have to have some secure borders, but spending billions of dollars on the border of Mexico, for example, we've spent more on that effort than we have in the combined budget of several agencies, and it just hasn't worked. And I think the dollars can be better spent in other methods.
Okay. Thank you. It's time to end the show. Is there anything else you would like to tell the audience as to the April 10th and why they should be there?
Definitely. April 10th, come out to the vigil. If you can't make it, write to your congressman, ask them for change, ask them to really come up with some real legislation. Definitely come to the CU Immigration Forum and participate. Come to La Colectiva meetings. It is a student organization, but we invite community members to also get involved with us because we're a part of this community and we want to work with community members.
Excellent.
Yes, I would echo exactly what she said, and just for clarification, we meet at noon at the University YMCA on Mondays, so if people want to come in person and find out what they can do, I'm sure we would have something they could do, but we just need to get the families united here, and this year is our chance.
Okay. Well, as we wrap up today's show and call for participation on April 10th, I'd just like to remind everyone why the time is crucial. April 10th is right after the Easter break. The Congress, after all, this rally is ending at the federal building precisely because it's a federal issue. It is the Congress that must do something about it. They've been talking about it. They've floated proposals and ideas for the last couple of months. And yet there's no bill yet. So the pressure is on to put on a bill on the table that can be debated and voted on. We realize the House also needs to join in that effort, and they say they want, and they have a bill that they're preparing, but nothing has come out. So I think President Obama at one point in the last, around Christmas time, basically said, if you guys don't put out a bill, then I'll mobilize to put something forward and to do something more. And I think from the many constituencies around the country, it's the time is now, and it's feeling like nothing's happening from their side except a lot of talk. And this time, it doesn't seem to be enough. So the April 10th event is for everyone to make that call to Congress and to say, let's move on, let's get a bill put on the table, get it debated, and get it compromised, negotiated, and do all the things that have to be done. So this is CU Immigration Forum, your weekly TV show to get informed about immigration, and this week especially about April 10th. So thank you for listening, and until next time, thank you.